And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Turn on the tube, what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, don't blame me. They point the crooked little fingers at everybody else. Spend all the time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin and your daddy's too fat. Get over it. Get over it. All this running.
Yeah, just get over it. Got to start planning, getting working. And we're blazing a trail here. You know, we when we had our first Ron Paul Revolution workshop, we had it planned for a certain time. It went from, this date to this date. And in the last month, we came up with this, and this was probably almost 2 years ago. We go, while we got the space here, there's something I want to try. I had seen we have a category on Freedom's Phoenix called off-grid living. And it has, things like portable farms where you have kind of hydroponics. You're using the wastewater from your fish pond that goes in and grows vegetables like crazy. So then you got protein, you got the fish, and you got vegetables. There you got it going on. They're doing this, and we learn a lot from the poor countries. And they got their farm animals, and they're making methane. So you got your own gas. There's all kinds of things you can do if you're just left alone to do it. Oh, the man doesn't like that none too much. You got to be on the grid, man. You got to be on the grid. It's so bad. We had just a few weeks ago. You remember us talking about it here. At the workshop, what happened was we had a representative from the city of Phoenix came up in their little pickup truck looking for our contract for our dumpster. I go, no. Every single one of the retail outlets, especially since you're not taking the city of Phoenix services for your waste removal, we have a program. We're here to check to make sure you got a contract with a private company. And if you don't, you better have a contract. Now, of course, ours was the landlord, and, we got a dumpster out there. Nope, got to see the contract, or you're in violation, got a ticket. Really? Seriously? This is how bad it is. If you're not allowed to be off the grid, man. Even if you're off the grid, you got to have a contract with the grid for somebody else doing the grid. So I'm just going, wow, man, the mentality. And it's going to get worse. And these people are out there, what? Trying to save their jobs. If you're not making us money, then you don't have a job. Well, who has the ability to make them money? Just pull you over. All the king's men with the little bubblegum, lights on top of their cars. That's what is going to be making them some money. And I remember when I first started radio, it was in 2003, and we had the Arizona State Treasurer. Her name was Carol Springer. And she was the Arizona State Treasurer just before she might have been at that time, or had just went off back to Prescott, Arizona, where she's now a county supervisor. Now, a little history on her is she, in the mid-'90s, was the first legislator that introduced and got passed in a legislative body in the Senate here in Arizona, FIJA, Fully Informed Jury. She had it passed in the Senate, went to the House, and all the bad guys came out on that one. Oh, heck no. While the legislators in the House say, oh, yeah, we'd sign, absolutely, bring it on over, man. We're all supported. We love the peoples. Yeah. Where's your support? Until it actually passed the Senate, and they went, we didn't count on that. So then they changed their minds. Well, now she's up as county supervisor in Yavapai playing government, same old. When she came on, we were talking about the budget then. This is, the last lawsuit that I had filed on them overspending. What's going on right now? It was accounting tricks. They were moving stuff around. They were just, calling it something it wasn't and whatever, and we're not in debt. Okay? But they were. Well, as state treasurer, I'm going, look, we know this is crap. Yep. She goes, we are $2 billion more in debt than they're putting out. I mean, billions. Little bitty Arizona. Little bitty Arizona. We knew we were in trouble then. Well, how are we going to do this? And she made a comment. I should dig that out. It's in the archive. I should dig that out. And this is what she said. She goes, well, they just have highway patrol, state police, just write more tickets. She goes, what do you think was going to happen? How do you think this is covered? How many more tickets can they write? This is getting to the point to where I was explaining to my daughter, she was asking me, when and how bad. And I go, our debt is so much. Our entitlements, our obligations, it's so much that if you worked for the man 100%, you gave him everything that you own, it's still not enough. Not counting the interest. And then where does the money for the interest come from? They got to keep reprinting it just to even have the money to pay the money on the money. So we're done. Done. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to show you one thing. I know that I'm going to try and define it as much as I can for those in the listening audience. So this show is going to be better on video. Go to the YouTube. Because there was a thing that we've been thinking about for years. Back in 2000 or so, there was a gentleman. His name is Mike Hansford. Haggard. There was another Hansford guy, another friend. But, Mike Haggard was the vice chair of the Libertarian Party here and the Navajo County chairman of the Libertarian Party, which is the northeastern part of Arizona and Winslow up there. What he did is he was a pastor also. Oh, that's interesting. You have the county chairman as a pastor of Southern Baptist Church. He's now a missionary in Taiwan. He's been there for several years. He comes back every now and then, and we hook up, say what's up, and we always get like every week or so, he'll send us, how he's doing. He and his wife teach English at one of the schools there. They do their thing. They're learning the culture there and so on. And he was always going, China doesn't want don't worry about that. Well, maybe they do. So we get the inside scoop of what's going on in Taiwan and how it plays in geopolitics. Because when you got all this saber rattling, with North and South Korea and everything, Taiwan always gets thrown into the mix. Now, Taiwan was when the Red Revolution or whatever is going on in China, the existing government at the time left and went to Taiwan and said, okay, well, here's base here. And the United States kind of supported that. It's no long story. Now, what he did up there, he lived up in Lone Prairie, and he was experimenting with a couple of building techniques. And there was they call it single-dimensional geodesic domes. I'll explain what that means in a little bit. But once you create this framework, what do you cover it with? Because it's not like you can just use, sheets of plywood and put it up there like you're doing stick building and you kind of got a room that you're building. It's kind of weird angles and so on. How do you build this? Well, what he figured out, and one thing that's called single phase. Now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go, it's just how many different rods, how many angles do you have to create the dome? A single phase, you could make what his goal was. Can you make a structure out of single sheets of plywood? 4x8, you just cut, the angles in such a way that you can build a structure. Well, he did. It was like a shed, probably about, as much as you can get single sheets of plywood. So it probably, was like an 8x8, thing. And he built this. Big winds go there. They're blowing over trailers and so on. This thing just stuck right there. He goes, I like this. This is a good idea. Now what do you cover it with? How do you insulate it? Then there was a thing that he had videotapes. I still have the videotapes he gave me. And it was about papercrete. What they would do is use magazines, you take newspapers, and you just put them in a vat, and you just get all the pulp, and you mix it with a little bit of sand and some cement, and it's very light. It's almost like styrofoam, excellent insulating. And you shoot it all over this thing, insulate it. Well, we've been experimenting with this over the last couple of years. I'm going to show you some stuff on the video, and you're going to go, oh, I like that idea. You guys stick around. We're going to teach you a little bit more, get you up to speed. What do we know? I share with everybody.